Welcome to Planet Raconteur, where we who tell stories rule this world. I am Yuck Nasty, and I am your guide into our world that's filled with sights and sounds, both wonderful and frightening. Filled with sights and sounds, both wonderful and frightening.
This is a warning. Please listen. A new technology has allowed us to send this message through the veil of death. Take this as a serious warning. We've designed it to appear in a place that you are destined to see it. You'll be dead within 24 hours. What you think death is false. You have been lied to your entire life. This life has been a training for what's to come. Do not expect what comes next to be easy. Don't trust your eyes. The monsters can't hurt you if you don't let them. Be ready and remember, this is just the beginning. Perseverandum est in inferno.
Our next reading is entitled Dark Roads. This is a magical story about someone getting even. Someone who has been locked up by his king, whom he loved.
This is Dark Roads for the Eternal Ruler by Eric James Stone. Your Imperial Majesty, humble though my current condition is, I am proud to write those words to you, for today they are true. The day of your coronation is joyous for the Empire. Most of your subjects believe that you are the prophesied bringer of perfect justice, whose reign will be eternal in fact, not just name. God's grant it be so, if they'll still hear the prayers of this, your servant. Servant. Yes, even in prison I still serve you. For if I, whom everyone knows to be your right hand, your voice, your beloved, if I am not spared from your justice, no one will be. But it pains me that I, your first and most loyal follower, was not able to see you crowned, though I heard the cheers from myself. I had hoped to stand beside you as imperial sorcerer, or perhaps even more. But I am glad that my condemnation has proven that your justice knows no favorites. And who could doubt it? Yet there are still some who do. They will seize any opportunity to turn the people against you. And as you said when you sentenced me, if the people do not believe in your justice, it would not be just to rule them. Fortunately, the crimes of which I have been convicted occurred before I met you, my lord, and thus your enemies cannot use them against you. Was that truly but fortune? Alas, no, it was not. Your sentence is just. But did you not think it strange that my offenses, 10 years past, only recently came into the memories of my accusers? Did you not think it strange that I stand unaccused of more recent crimes? Perhaps not. In the goodness of your heart, perhaps you counted my offenses as youthful folly, and attributed the revived memories to my newfound fame as your right hand. Right and left, both of my hands were yours. And more than that, my eyes, my ears, my lips, my heart, my devotion, my service. But oh, that I were worthy of such good thoughts. Hand to my heart, the truth is that the accusations are but beginning. Many will be true, for many are those that I defrauded before I met you, and for each I wrote a spell to make them forget what I had done, activating the spell with the town's magistrate seal I stole from my father. But alas, the term of a magistrate is only 10 years, and thus the spells expire in their time. I walked the dark roads all my life until I met you, who walks only in the light. Shall I tell you from the day we met, I walked only in the light? But that would be a lie. I did change that day. I had committed many crimes to benefit myself before we met, and never did so again. That's not to say I never committed any more crimes, only that they were for your benefit. One who walks only in the light could never achieve the imperial throne unless someone walked the dark roads for him. Do you think it's simply good fortune that so many of your possible opponents remove themselves from contention for the throne? I blackmailed, extorted, and bribed where I could, and killed when I had to. But nobody will remember those crimes until 4 years hence. Be that as it may, your enemies will use my crimes against you, for I was your right hand. What I did in your name. And if the people turn against you, you'll step down even though your eternal rule is what is best for them, because of me. Is this how I'll be remembered? Remembered as the one who destroyed you. By my life, I would not have it so. Your subjects' benefit is all I have in mind, not mine. To prove this, I write this letter with my life's blood. You see, I'll be dead by the time this reaches you by way of our trusted friend. And I hope you'll forgive that I have given myself justice at my hand and not yours, and that you'll sometimes recall me with fondness. People will accept your justice as long as they believe in you. Therefore, I give you this final gift, my beloved Lord, though I am uncertain you'll use it. The first word of each paragraph is part of a spell. To activate it, you must only read those words aloud and stamp this letter with the seal of the eternal ruler, and your spell will last forever. For the people's good, my Lord, I beg you to walk just this once down a dark road. I know your conscience will torture you if you do. Find justice in that.
The following story is one that all of us have worked very hard on. And in the end, we learned a lesson. The sun is very hot, and hard work pays off. By author Richard Berry, here is Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs by Richard Berry. A spaceship carrying two intelligent beings of distant origin powered down its engine as it entered orbit around the planet Earth.
Complete shutdown in 12 seconds, Commander.
The first being said.
Thank you, Commander. Let's proceed.
They had the same rank within the organization that had planned and executed this journey, these beings, but it wasn't an issue. There had been no discord between them.
Actually, Commander, we have a problem. What's that, Commander? I think we may have miscalculated our destination.
These beings and their kind realized long ago that traveling vast distances across the galaxy required the manipulation of time, not just movement across space. Put simply, they had discovered how to delete the time it took to travel between 2 points. With some allowance for the process of deletion to run its course, they could effectively go from A to B instantaneously. It nearly always worked.
I concur.
The second being said. It was studying the view screen at its station, which displayed various readings from the planet's surface.
Mean temperature is higher than we expected. The major land masses differ in shape, too. Something else, Commander. There is no evidence of human civilization here. That's what I feared, Commander. Is there any life at all? Yes, plenty. On land?
The first being read out the names of animals as their images flashed across the screen and were matched to entries in the ship's database.
Ornithomimus, Ankylosaurus, Chasmosaurus, Triceratops, Edmontosaurus, Molosara, Parasaurolophilus, Pachycephalosaurus, Dinocharius, Quetzalcoatlus, Tyrannosaurus.
The second interrupted.
I'm not familiar with these species. How far away from our target point in time are we? 65,227,911 Earth years, 133 Earth days, rounded to the nearest day.
The second struggled to comprehend what it was hearing.
There must have been some error in our calculations. Now, how could this happen?
It was at this point that these beings looked for the first time since arriving in the solar system out of the small circular window of their spaceship. They both saw the likely culprit for their miscalculation. A rocky entity 81 kilometers in diameter could be seen at the outer edge of the planet's atmosphere.
Probability of collision with the planet is 100%. Well, that must be it, Commander. I sometimes forget to account for asteroids in my calculations. Such an amount of mass would have made a significant difference. I apologize. Mistakes happen, Commander.
These beings were nothing if not resilient. No sooner had their problem been identified than they were discussing options of what to do about it. There weren't many, unfortunately.
It's not possible to attempt another journey to the correct destination. We don't have enough energy.
The original plan had been to land on Earth, settle, develop a relationship with the humans, and eventually harness enough fuel from the planet for a return trip.
We could land anyway, stay out of the way, and gather what we need. We'd have plenty of time to check the calculations before we tried again.
The first being gave the second's idea some serious thought.
It might be possible, Commander, but the risk is too great. If we are witnessing the mass extinction event that I've read about in the Earth history files, then conditions are about to become extremely inhospitable. Even with our technology, without the protection of a native, intelligent species, I doubt we'd survive.
The second nodded.
Reluctantly, I have to agree. Do you have any ideas? Only one, and it's causing me a degree of discomfort just to think about it. Well, we need to consider all options, Commander. Very well, Commander. It seems to me, despite the size of this asteroid, one of our missiles would probably be sufficient to destroy it. Destroy it? I warned you about the discomfort. Now, if we do proceed, and I'm not necessarily advocating this, we could settle on the planet in its current stable condition and remain there long enough to harness energy without significant risk to our well-being. Perhaps longer, if we like it there.
As they spoke, the asteroid continued its descent. Until now, it had proceeded with the usual sense of inevitability that gravity provided to the larger objects of the universe. But now that more influential forces were minded to intervene, the probability of its colliding with the planet Earth was considerably less than 100%.
What about the humans?
The first being asked the question despite already knowing the answer.
It's unlikely they'll evolve if we interfere, Commander. Well, it's us or them, Commander.
The decision was made. As quickly as the command could be processed by the ship's computer, the missile was on its way.
Preparing for landing,
said the first, who had already moved on to the next challenge.
I'm just thinking. They won't have any knowledge of human civilization back on our home planet once the trajectory of life on Earth has been altered. As our ship will be protected from the changes, perhaps we should send back a copy of our database to preserve their existence. For what purpose? Perhaps for our historians to study.
The first being was mainly occupied with plotting the ship's descent to the surface.
I suppose you're right. Besides, Commander, we wouldn't want anyone finding out about our little miscalculation, would we?
The second being stared out of the small circular window. All appeared calm on planet Earth. It seemed like the asteroid and its burning tail were suspended in midair. Then the missiles arrived, and the window was filled with a flash of brilliant light. The end.
And our last one of the night is by author Gaia Dildascully. This is about a growing connection between a son and a mother who did not birth him. She actually purchased him off the shelf.
Off the Shelf by Gaia Dildascully. He was an impulse buy. Jean had examined the bundle on the shelf. It was wrapped in a light blue blanket printed with yellow beach balls. The expiration date said yesterday, but it hadn't turned odd colors or rotted. At the counter, they'd given her half off with no return option. She accepted that and brought him home. The styrofoam packaging had cradled his head and kept it from bruising. His hair hadn't grown in yet, but the paperwork said it would be light to medium brown. His eyes would stay blue, though his skin could change by 2 to 3 shades. The paperwork went on to say that the small mark on his left butt cheek would return to the maker's mark after a few years and would fade by adulthood. It could still be found under autopsy if questions arose about the quality of the product. She'd had worries in the first years that maybe the expiration date on the package really was important, but the boy started walking on his first birth date and started making sentences a few months later. Jean thought about the date when he did things she didn't like. His second grade teacher assured her that he wasn't the first boy to wet his pants in class. His third broken finger made her wonder if this would have happened to a full-price boy. She looked up the contact information of the company when he got an F in 7th grade English. The company had gone under shortly after his 4th buy date. All claims were to be filed with the bankruptcy lawyer. She never pursued. They both aged, he into his prime and she into her twilight. She didn't think about the expiration date when his fiancée left him. She pulled out the baby pictures with the mark on his butt cheek when he joined the military. They needed proof of his suitability. When his casket came to her doorstep, she thought about the overdue expiration. Replacing faulty parts had bankrupted the company 19 years before. The lawyer explained that the heart was tricky to get right and always broke first. The end.
Well, there you go. Another trip to Planet Raconteur. On behalf of myself and our other two fine raconteurs, Papa Dave and Bobby Anthem, we would like to thank you for listening. All of the stories presented on Planet Raconteur are used by permission or are in the public domain. Check out the show notes for the details on the authors, their websites, and their other releases. Hey, much love, and thanks again for visiting the Planet Raconteur.